Hello everyone and welcome to Sunrise Tarot. My name is Leah and today I'm doing a reading for the sign of Taurus for the first half of September 1 through the 15th. Please remember this is a general reading. There may be some parts that do not resonate with you. Please take the parts that do and leave the rest. You may also want to check out your other signs. Please remember I've already meditated on the cards and shuffled the cards, and this is a spread that I have for you today, wonderful Taurus. In the past position we've got the Lovers as well as the Ace of Cups. In the challenging position the Five of Swords and the Page of Wands. In the present position we've got the Strength clarified by the Seven of Swords, and of course the Wheel of Fortune as the outcome position clarified by the Eight of Wands. In the past position we have the Lovers, which is a very positive card. It's a card of love, soulmates, unity, but it can also be a card of partnership and friendship and sort of an understanding. It could also symbolize a major crossroads in your life. It could be a card about following your heart. It's definitely, kind of based on emotion, based on fulfillment. You see this beautiful sun that is shining on these two people in this card. Definitely it is considered for most, to be a very positive card. It's about having one identity that is shared by two people. The Ace of Cups is also a wonderful card. It's good to have it in the combination here with the Lovers. The Ace of Cups is a very powerful card in the minor arcana, and even though it is still, in this past position, it's kind of away from maybe other cards, it still has a very positive effect on the overall spread, on the overall reading, even if it is still in the past position. It's a card of good emotional intelligence. It's a card of stability and happiness, fulfillment and peace. It's a card of a peace offering, and of course the bird here above the cup symbolizes freedom. The combination here, the Lovers and the Ace of Cups, could mean a few different things. It's generally a very positive combination, suggesting that you had a partnership or a strong relationship with someone. It could be someone like a friend or a relative or even both. Maybe you had several strong relationships that kind of taught you, very important things in the past, taught you how to overcome obstacles, taught you how to be brave, taught you how to be courageous, taught you how to love, taught you how to maybe even stand up for yourself. But definitely, the Lovers and the Ace of Cups also taught you how to be kind of strong through caring, how to understand your emotions, acknowledge your emotions, evaluate and process your emotions. In the past, you could have, had to make a choice. The lingering effects of which you're still feeling. It could be that. It could be also a warning, it's a very positive combination. I certainly want to make sure that is kind of heard, but some cards also have a little bit of negativity attached to them, and it could be sometimes when people look up to someone and they share an identity with them, and again, it doesn't have to be like a sexual relationship. It could be someone from your family or someone like a friend with whom you have a really strong bonds. Maybe you've been through stuff together. It could be that you're stuck a little bit in the past. It could be that you are looking at life in the world through a relationship from the past, which is not, which the divine says, you should definitely kind of, acknowledge that and work through that and move from that, because relationships in the past may have taught us a lot of things, but, it's time to progress forward. But for most people, it's definitely, a very positive combination, very loving combination, very supportive combination. A lot of positive emotions here in this combination, and you still rely on them. You still kind of remember them, especially when you don't feel, super on top of the world. In the negative, challenging position, in the obstacle position, we've got the Five of Swords, clarified by the Page of Wands. The Five of Swords is normally a card of conflict, and definitely not the best card to have in a reading. It could be about exchanging of words that are hurting you, or maybe you exchanging words with someone else that are hurting them. So make sure that you kind of treat people around you well. But in the challenging position, the Five of Swords starts to take on a more positive meaning. It suggests that maybe you're coming to a revelation, a resolution, or understanding that, this continuous conflict is not going to get anywhere. Your side's not going to win, and the opposing side's not going to win. So it seems maybe you are kind of repeating a pattern where you find yourself in the same sort of similar situation. It could be that you are trying to walk away from something and it continues to follow you. Maybe you need to sort of take the courage and feel brave and be strong and kind of face it dead on, so that you get the resolution. Sometimes providing resolution to other people is difficult. You've heard of the phenomenon called ghosting. I think that people who definitely engage in ghosting are not necessarily bad people. They're just afraid of kind of talking through their feelings or listening to another person's feelings. It's unpleasant. We all live in a world where we want instant gratification. We all live in a world where we always want to have a pleasant time, but unfortunately sometimes coming to a resolution and facing something head on, while maybe unpleasant, in the long run saves time, energy, and gets you to your goal even faster than you may have originally anticipated. So definitely, kind of, I think you're moving in the right direction, because for most interpreters, Five of Swords in the challenging obstacle position actually is a good sign. It's a sign that peace is on the horizon. It's a sign that resolution is on the horizon. That a compromise is going to be, achieved. And even though you may not get everything you want in a compromise, still you're saving time and energy, which is a lot. And it's also a very good exercise, in order to learn more about yourself. When you are in a conflict, or when you even calmly explain your position as to why you continue to do such and such or what have you. Sometimes people that are in the opposite position need a little bit of time to kind of see your side. The Page of Wands is generally a very positive card. It's a card of someone who is creative, someone who is passionate, but someone who has still challenges to overcome, because we see these three mountains in this card, which of course represent challenges. He still has to struggle through in order to learn and experience and understand, but he of course doesn't think that way. The Page of Wands in the obstacle position for some of you could mean you need to stop wasting time, because you may be, this combination here creates tension and worry. And so addressing a situation head on would definitely put, a stop to wasting of the time. It could be that you're facing something for the first time, because pages are on the younger side, or, it could just mean that maybe you haven't gone through something before, and so you were doing it for the first time, and that creates tension inside of you. So you may use a few hurtful words. This combination is definitely about tension. It's definitely about coming to some sort of a resolution, to some sort of a compromise, overcoming a struggle, and remember that you are accountable for the decisions that you make. You are accountable for the actions that you take. So make sure that you really think through about, all the choices that you make, as they will determine, the kind of perhaps the rest of the year or the following year. So definitely making sure that you don't hide from a resolution does not mean that you have to be extremely vocal about it, but being brave and courageous is definitely what the divine here is calling for. And we've got strength in the present, clarified by the Seven of Swords. Definitely strength is a very positive card. It's not usually my favorite card, even though it's very, very positive card. And the lady that's wearing a white dress, if you will, the white dress in this card symbolizes, of course, your soul. Yeah, that spiritual inner strength to overcome any challenges, to tame even the wildest of beasts. This person is definitely an authority. And I think it definitely represents you. But the thing is, I am always a little bit wary of this strength card, because you have to be strong for a reason. There's something obviously that's going to be testing you, that's going to be presenting you with a challenge, and I think it's going to be the Seven of Swords. The first 2 weeks of September is definitely going to be a time when you want to be very hyper aware of things that are going on around you. Make sure that you don't share any more information that you have to. Make sure to watch what you say. Don't react if someone says something that's not the greatest. The Seven of Swords is an energy that suggests something is happening behind your back, of course. For some it could mean an affair. For others it could mean that someone is maybe speaking, gossiping about you negatively behind your back. But the strength here outweighs the Seven of Swords, definitely, because the strength is major arcana, very powerful card. And most interpreters love this particular card, the card of strength, and it has very positive symbols and very positive energy. It's a yes card. Some of this requires patience, though. Parts of this card definitely require patience. I mean, this card brings courage and bravery and being ready, whereas this card is kind of like guerrilla warfare. This card is being kind of clean fighting, facing things head on, whereas this card is dirty fighting, not wanting to take on a conflict directly, because this person obviously doesn't feel strong enough. Definitely patience is going to be required here, depending on each and every one of yours unique situation. But when you see strength, it calls for compassion. When you see strength, it calls for patience through caring and consideration and thoughtfulness and thoroughness and being detailed. This person is not the fastest moving person. The Seven of Swords could also just mean, for some of you, that clarity is coming, in your life, and you're understanding your situation a little better, or the person that is in question a little better. Maybe you are in a relationship that is going through, a difficult time, and you are, kind of standing strong for both of you guys. Definitely, not everyone can do it. But it's promising to me. I think that strength is a promising omen that things will turn out in your favor, and it is in the major position. The Seven of Swords is only a clarifier, so the Seven of Swords is just a cost of life that you have to expect. There will be some kind of gossiping or some kind of a questionable behavior by someone in your vicinity that you care about. you're definitely maybe having a little bit of anxiety about someone in your entourage. So, double check. And it doesn't call that, you shouldn't be paranoid, but it's easy for me to say sometimes you have to be paranoid, but definitely it's a card that there may be a little bit of pain, there may be a little bit of difficulty, but you will overcome it. The strength is a card that almost guarantees you will overcome it. The future out composition card is the Wheel of Fortune. So it's a positive card. It's a good card. It's a card about what goes up must come down. It's a card of a cycle. It's a card of change. And of course, many people interpret this card saying that, if you put out wonderful things into the universe, then wonderful things will come back. And if you put out negative things into the universe, then negative things will come back. Most of us do about 50-50. So, that tells us that the Wheel of Fortune is largely a positive card, although it can have a little bit of a negative consequences. Most say that this is a card of Lady Luck, so luck is on your side, and for most of you, and your luck is definitely about to change. It's a card of transition from one fortune to the next. It's a card that says things will improve. The Eight of Wands is a directional card. Eight of Wands means something is coming at you fast and you have to think on your feet. There will be a decision that you're going to have to make. There will be a change that is going to come at you, and it's up to you to adapt. It's going to be up to you to figure out the advantages of this change, disadvantages of this change, and how you can fit that into your relationship or maybe into your career. Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Wands, extremely good for career. For love, it can also be good. Interestingly enough, the Wheel of Fortune is also considered to be an Egyptian card, full of Egyptian symbolism that you can actually talk about for days. And actually, it's interesting, it's spelled tarot. You can see the T on top, and then A over here, and then R over here, and then O. And so it does definitely spells tarot. But what I was going to say is, the one thing that stands out in kind of is that it does not have a human figure as a focal point in this card. We can see human figures in most of these cards, but in this one it doesn't, because the decision of the Wheel of Fortune and the luck that you will receive is actually made in heavens. It's made in the sky. It's made in the clouds. It's not of human world, or it does not obey human laws. This is divine law. This is a law that perhaps some of us have difficulty understanding, but it's not human realm, and so the decision has been made to realign, and things are slowly realigning, and you will find out in the first 2 weeks of September which direction you're going to be moving forward. Very exciting time. Very exciting time. It's also, a card of change, of rebirth, of healing. It's also good that it stands, that the card is next to strength. They're kind of feeding off each other and supporting each other, and definitely, if it's an improvement, sometimes people have difficulty dealing with even a good improvement, because you have to have a certain amount of strength and power to deal with that. But like I said, the Wheel of Fortune can also have a little bit of a negativity, maybe a challenge, maybe an obstacle. It could be that you have to be patient and let things play out, and and not interfere, because this again is not a human realm, it's one above. So it's one of those things where kind of the decision is out of your hands. And of course the Eight of Wands, very, fast moving card, extremely good for your career, extremely good for creativity. But the best advice that comes from the Eight of Wands is think positive, and positive things will come to you. And don't beat yourself up if you think one negative thought. It's okay. You're going to be okay, But let's see if we can clarify some of this reading with the 3 energy oracle cards that I pulled. And they are... we've got Journey and Cornucopia and Strategy. Finally, we get the Cornucopia. For some reason, I've wanted to get the Cornucopia for a long time, never was able to get it, but now it's great. It's a card of rewards. I mean, if you look at it, there's all kinds of food, there's all kinds of kind of delicious things, and so it's a feast, and when do you have a feast? You have a feast when there's victory, when something has been achieved. It's, a reward for something. The Cornucopia is a card of wishes being fulfilled. It's an abundant harvest, and great blessings are waiting for you, and you may even find all of your wishes fulfilled. This cornucopia of gifts from the universe can come in the form of financial riches, job fulfillment, romantic love, or all of the above. When you receive the cornucopia, you know that you've done important work and it's about to pay off. The seeds you've planted in your energy and in your life are ready to be harvested in some significant ways. Get ready, for a great feast of abundant value is being prepared for you now, and Spirit is applauding all of your effort. It looks like to me that you did something that has resonated with the divine. It resonated with the Great Spirit. You did something good. Perhaps you sacrificed. Perhaps you helped when it wasn't required of you to help, and you went out of your way perhaps. And definitely the divine is rewarding you here. Journey is about relocation and travel. Pack your bags. The Journey card foretells upcoming travel or a shift in location. It may be as simple as a vacay. I would love a vacay, a retreat or class, or even a work-related trip. This could signal a move of residence or a job relocation. This card also could indicate that plans should go off without a hitch. Still, be clear about your motivations and mindful of logistics. All of your life is a journey, and this card is telling you that you have some exciting and inspiring adventures ahead, which is really, really exciting. The Strategy card is a reminder from the universe, because Tauruses sometimes can get lost a little bit in the dreams, especially with this cornucopia. You may be focused on some things but not others. It's very important to have a strategy. It's very important to have a plan. And when you receive this card, it shows that this is the optimum time for setting up a very specific strategy for achieving your goals. Write about direction you want to go in. I mean, seriously, pick up a pen and write down the plans. And maybe for some of you it will be something like go to Paris, get engaged, and then buy a house or something. That plan is good, but it requires more detail. It requires more strategy. It requires, what if something doesn't go the way you expect it to go? What is plan B? What is, like a reserve maybe fund that could protect you from a rainy day or something like that. Strategies are, I'm definitely not that great at writing down plans, but, it's very, very, very important. And I do suffer from it as well. And I have become better over the last, I would say, 2 years in really being specific, like breaking things down to the smallest detail. Very important. The divine has given you this card for a reason, because if you do not strategize and you do not make plans, there's a chance that you're goals will not come about. This card is telling you, spend some time setting things in order. It's time to take full control. Add thought to action and set your sights on the road ahead. So if you write down a plan and you continuously add, when you are completely sick of looking at that plan, is probably a time when you have a good chance of succeeding. Let's see if we can get some clarification from the 3 answers from Angels cards that I pulled, and they are remain positive, let go, and no. So this is definitely a little bit of a damper. While you will receive some rewards in the first 2 weeks of September, there are delays and there are setbacks, and those delays and setbacks are in part, they're due to perhaps lack of planning, or perhaps not strategizing as well. I had to pick up my cat because she's getting a little anxious. But definitely remain positive and allow things to play out. The Wheel of Fortune and the future outcome suggests to us that let the divine sort of take the wheel, and let the divine kind of go with it, and see where things fall after the change occurs. It does look like the relocation is not going to be happening in the month of September as perhaps you wanted. Maybe you were looking for something new, maybe you were looking, because this girl's got her bag here packed, she's all ready to go. It could be that your plans are a little bit changed, so definitely adapt as things develop. But generally, for the first 2 weeks of September, you do have a very positive spread. You have a cornucopia. You have a reminder to stay positive. You have the Wheel of Fortune. You have the card of Strength. This is the time to knuckle down. This is the time of effort. And after all, you're Taurus, and Tauruses are very, very strong people. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I hope that you will return for the second part of September reading. Please feel free to leave any comments. I appreciate feedback, and it also helps me connect with your energies as well. Thank you so much for visiting, and I will see you next time.